definitely, like you said, if you want to be good at something, you just can't be good at one aspect of what you're trying to be good at. You gotta do the research. You gotta study. You gotta know all. If we're talking martial arts, you gotta know all the intricate, different martial arts, and you definitely gotta put work towards all of them. You gotta be good at everything.
Look, nobody is a master of every damn thing, okay? But you do have to have a good solid base, a good foundation, a good proficiency in all three of those areas. If you don't know that, real estate, entrepreneurship, and stock market, if you don't know the other two, you might think you're good at one, but you're going to miss some very important pieces, and you're going to get your ass knocked out, same as you would in a fight. They call that bankruptcy. In business, it's called bankruptcy.
If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video.
What up? I'm Derek Moneyberg, and you're not. But there's another Derek Brunson, who came to bless us with his presence this fine afternoon or evening for some of you. Derek Brunson's been a friend for a minute. He's been a top contender at UFC forever, multi-time college wrestling champion, multi-time father, multi-time pimp, hero, winner, property owner, entrepreneur, and some other good shit. And he's been one of my coaches, been helping me get my blue belt, help me on my purple belt. And he's busy fighting and being the warrior that he is, but he's been back helping me a little more recently. What comes after purple belt? Oh, brown. I got to get my brown belt next.
That's next.
Got to get my brown belt, then my black belt. So you're going to help me with some of that too. And Derek's very talented. He's been, accidental, you're a top contender and in a really tough weight division too. A lot of talent and, big, strong, talented people. But he's a high-level wrestler, also high-level jiu-jitsu, great at every area. But the things that we've worked on the most is he does some very unique things between his wrestling and jiu-jitsu strategies, and I learned a lot from the guy. I think you will too. Away from, and I touched on this, but away from that warrior gangster fighting stuff is some of that warrior money making stuff. Because you're not going to be much of a warrior or hero if you're povering, are you? It just doesn't sound right. So, I don't want to talk about your personal business in any more depth than you would feel comfortable, but I know Derek has some rental properties. He's making some money from rental properties. He's making money from a gym. He's making money from UFC, making money from endorsements, sponsorships, probably some more money I'm not thinking of.
Fight promotion.
Has its own fight promotion as well. What's that called? Shameless shout out.
Ultimate Battlegrounds.
Battleground, check it out. And probably some other ones.
And then also I do a little bit of fighter management. So managing fighters is kind of like the next wave, getting started now. Once I'm done fighting, going to be in that full time, managing fighters, kind of showing them the ropes, what it takes to be a top and complete athlete and trying to guide them there.
You got your toes in the water, doing some Hollywood shit too, getting some movie pieces in.
In process.
So yeah, there's the reason I bring that up is he's a person that built his reputation in fighting, but has also found many ways to leverage that into additional income streams, which is exactly what you need to do if you want to not be poor. So I can't speak highly enough of the importance of having multiple income streams. You and I were just lifting weights for the past couple hours, doing leg day. Derek's keeping up with me on leg day, throwing around big silly weights, and we were talking about the importance of different income streams, and I mentioned to him, as I mentioned to you, that if you don't understand small business at a high level, if you can't build a small enterprise and run a little mom and pop business, how the hell would you be successful in the stock market, understanding the complexities that you need to the global economy, global politics, and global hysterias that we've seen in recent years, and who knows what's coming next. With AI and other political mischief, there's no telling what could happen next. But whatever happens, I know it's my job to make some money, and I hope that you do too. But you have to understand, the big business, small business. You have to understand how real estate for a normal consumer, which are, those are the people that make the economy, is It's based on consumerism. Capitalism needs consumers to make producers. If you don't have consumers, you don't have producers, because if there's no demand for a product, that business goes out of business, and that consumer capital, discretionary spending, or non-discretionary spending goes elsewhere. So you have to understand that a normal consumer, the biggest purchasing decision they make in their lifetime is their home, and they're going to be behaving differently in an environment like right now where interest rates are very high. And home prices are under pressure because more of their monthly income is going to an interest expense instead of paying down the principal of a property. So people are reluctant to sell their homes right now. That they might have good job offers in other places, but if you got a loan locked in for 3% and you can move somewhere else and pay over 7%, it's hard to move.
For sure.
It makes it harder for people to move around. Property values are, again, under pressure, that a person can only pay X dollars per month. And if more of that's going to interest and less of it's going to principal, you're going to have to buy a less expensive home. On the other hand, when interest rates go down, which I'm anticipating there's a good probability of that, by the middle of next year with the election on the horizon, any politician, it's in their interest to have lower interest rates. And it doesn't matter what party you are, it's just better to have lower interest rates. And the appearance, however thinly veiled it might be, of or however thin of a veil that might be over the reality of inflation that'll happen, they're going to want to have lower interest rates because it appears to create a better economy. You're going to have a greater wealth effect where property values go up. People are more mobile to go take better jobs and move around the economy, move around geographically. And you also have a wealth effect in the stock market with lower interest rates. Then dividend paying stocks look more attractive, as you've learned in this course. And more people are going to feel wealthy, and a lot more business. They have more discretionary spending. Consumer confidence gets higher. They'll do more discretionary spending, and the economy does better until the next inflation cycle kicks in again, and they start raising the interest rates. So there's a lot of pieces in there, but if you understand those pieces pretty well, you can do damn well. You can do very well in the economy. And Derek and I were discussing that in the context of martial arts. His first martial art was wrestling. He's a very high level college wrestler, but that wouldn't be sufficient to do what you've done in your career at UFC. If you didn't also learn some jiu-jitsu, learn a lot about striking, make yourself an excellent striker as well. Like, how do you think that'd work out? You made the comment, like, even if you were like Olympic champion, like a astounding wrestler, could you be a UFC champion without filling in those other voids?
Absolutely not. It's funny. I love when the Olympians, I have Olympians that's in North Carolina that come by the gym and want to train. These guys really haven't dabbled in martial arts. They, kind of thinking about it, but they only do wrestling. And these guys are top in the world. But it's like, I almost bait them, let them take me down, get in my guard, and I just armbar them real quick, And that's the thing. If you just really dominant at one thing and you try to do something where it's a whole bunch of well-rounded people, it's not going to go very well for you. So yeah, you definitely got to get the other martial arts intact or caught up with what you're really good at.
What would happen to a guy in your profession if he's, really good in one area and he's they give him a fight against somebody, they got to come fight you. A guy that's really good in one area, now he's got to come fight you. Like, what do you expect would happen? Is he going to make it to the end of 3 rounds?
He's not going to make it very far. It's going easy night for myself, So yeah, definitely, like you said, if you want to be good at something, you just can't be good at one aspect of what you're trying to be good at. You gotta do the research. You gotta study. You gotta know all. If we're talking martial arts, you gotta know all the intricate, different martial arts, and you definitely gotta put work towards all of them. Whether you're being really great at one, you gotta be good at everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be. Look, nobody is a master of every damn thing. Okay, and I'm not telling you that you have to be. But you do have to have a good solid base, a good foundation, a good proficiency in all 3 of those areas to even excel in one, to be very good at one, to be excellent at one. You might have one that you favor, but you're going to have big blind spots if you don't know the other 2. If you don't know that, real estate, entrepreneurship, and, stock market, if you don't know the other 2, you might think you're good at one, but you're going to miss some very important pieces, and you're going to get your ass knocked out, same as you would in a fight. They call that bankruptcy. In business, it's called bankruptcy. In fighting, they call that a knockout. And, you don't want either.
Bankrupt sound a lot worse than knocked out. So,
Yeah, I got to agree. I'd rather get knocked the fuck out. I'd rather fight for the heavyweight belt right now. And, I suspect it wouldn't go great for me, but I would rather, whatever that outcome is, that's a lot better for me than bankruptcy. I'd rather get embarrassed in a UFC fight than get embarrassed in business and be going to bankruptcy court and, living in a fucking Motel 6 or some shit. So
yeah,
I agree. I'd much rather be knocked out and the referee steps in, Herb Dean steps in, say, I quit kicking Moneyberg in the head there. Don't kick him while he's down. And, I'd be okay. Be okay. A lot easier to rebuild from there than bankruptcy court. So don't put yourself in that situation. It's avoidable. These are totally avoidable things, folks. It's totally avoidable things. And you say, "Oh, Derek, I won't get over leveraged. I won't overextend myself. I don't really care about this specific course. We got only 1 week left, and this is the markets mastery course. They're learning about the stock market the last 9 weeks here. So somebody here say, "Oh, I love the stock market. I'm not really interested in those other things, Derek." All right, cool. But guess what? If you don't understand them, are you really going to have the confidence to go hard, in the stock market? You're not going to have the confidence to do it, because either you're going to overextend yourself and get fucked up, or you're going to be very, very conservative, and you're not going to have the boldness that you need to have to make big bets when it matters to significantly increase your net worth. So either way, you're going to lose money. I don't know which one's worse, is being too conservative and then you're just irrelevant because you're not doing anything big enough to be significant, or being overextended and getting yourself, knocked out or, put in bankruptcy. They're both bad. But it ain't like one's tremendously better than the other. You still end up poor either way. You still end up relatively poor, at least either way. So it's a fraction of what your true potential is if you understood those three things. As Derek said, have a well-rounded education in this area. You're going to do a lot better. What are some overlapping elements that you've learned, between your MMA career and your, entrepreneurial or business career? So, the overlap between the philosophies or skill sets or work ethic or whatever it might be of being a great martial artist and also being a great business person.
Well, I look at it like this. Some of the things that I learned is that everybody wants to be the champion. Or they say they do. Mm-hmm. Or everybody want to be rich. They say they do. But everybody's definition of achieving is different. And the large percentage aren't going to be willing to go that extra mile or really put forth the needed efforts that it takes to get to, achieving. So I would say for sure, that's one of the things that I learned, that if you want to be good at something, just do what others aren't willing to do. Mm-hmm. If you want to be great at something, do what the small percentage are doing, but now you have to exceed them. Mm-hmm. Because most people are gonna, they want to be in shape. They're gonna go and, work out 5 days a week. And then you have those people who train for fitness competition. They're gonna be on that 6 to 7 days a week. And then you have people who just wanna, do a fitness competition and want to be the best at that. They're really going to put that, they're going to watch their diet. They're going to make sure they go on 6 to 7 days a week. So a lot of people aren't going to put forth that effort. So if you want to be great at something, you got to be willing to put forth the effort and be better than, the people who aren't.
The way I've thought about that, I think that's great the way you explained it. I've had very similar thought, and the way that I've thought about that is if you want to be in the top 1%, you're going to have to do things that 99% of people are either too lazy or too stupid to do. And I don't mean that to be insulting to them. Well, I do, but I don't. It's just a fact that if you want to be in the top 1%, you have to do some things that 99% of people are unable to do. Either they don't have the mental capacity to accomplish those things, or they don't have the discipline to make themselves do the work to accomplish them. But they're too lazy, they're too dumb, both, who knows. But if you want to be in the top 1%, you got to consistently do things that 99% of people, they can't do that thing. They're not able, they can't make themselves do it. They can't get themselves to get to that outcome. And, the top 1% ain't shit. Like, imagine if you were a top 1% fighter, like, would anybody in the world know your name? If you were only better than, 99 out of 100 guys, would anybody know your name in the world? No. Yeah. That would mean that if there's 8 billion people, that would mean there's 80 million people just as good.
Right. Yeah.
So not top 5, not number 1 contender.
Sure.
So so to his point, there's gradients of that. Of it should at least be your goal to be in the top 1% of whatever it is you're trying to do.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.